Tom, you're headed back to Congress. There's been a lot of focus on what's going to happen when y'all get back with the continuing resolutions, the Defund ObamaCare movement. How do you anticipate all that playing out?
It's hard to say this far in advance. There's a lot of ideas out there about what we might do this fall to stop the worst parts of Obamacare from going into effect. So Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Mike Lee, for instance, have pushed to try to defund Obamacare, at least the discretionary parts of Obamacare. Rand Paul last week was just talking about how we might try to delay the worst parts of Obamacare that are about to kick in. The mandate on employers to provide federally approved health insurance, which President Obama has delayed himself. The mandate on individuals, which we as a House have voted to delay both of those. And then finally, the exchanges, which without any anti-fraud provisions, which the President has also delayed, are going to create an open season on Arkansas taxpayers. So from a legislative tactic standpoint, I don't think there's any kind of consensus approach, but we want to do everything we can to stop the worst parts of Obamacare from kicking in before they start driving up the cost of health care further, costing people their jobs or at least their full-time hours, and also reducing access to care and costing taxpayers more money.
You think that can be done without the government shutdown? I think that's kind of the big question people are talking about. Is it possible to do that without that?
I do. I think Barack Obama and his Democratic allies are the only people talking about a government shutdown. In fact, there's a story in the Politico yesterday that said the secret hope of Democrats is to try to shut down the government. But if we as a Congress pass legislation that funds all of the government except for parts of Obamacare that are discretionary enforcement mechanisms, I think it's up to the President to say why is he being so stubborn and so reluctant to fund all the government and its many important functions like prisons and FBI and so forth, just to hang on to a program, Obamacare, that he acknowledges is crumbling before our very eyes. He's the one that delayed the mandate on employers. He's the one that delayed the anti-fraud provisions on the exchanges. He's the one that delayed the out-of-pocket cost controls for consumers. He's the one that delayed the exchanges for small businesses. Those are his decisions. Those are his acknowledgments that this law is not working and cannot work.
There was a letter, I think, signed. I think a couple of congressmen here in Arkansas signed it. Congressman Tim Griffin, Rick Crawford. I don't believe you signed it. Is there anything we can infer from that, or is that what was going on?
I generally prefer to communicate with my colleagues face-to-face, either on the House floor in meetings. So I generally don't sign letters to other members of Congress because I think it's more collegial to be able to talk to them face-to-face or on the telephone or what have you. So anytime you see a letter that's written from congressmen to other congressmen, if I'm not a part of it, you really shouldn't infer anything other than I just prefer to have the kind of face-to-face conversations with them.
2 weeks into your campaign, how's it going? How's fundraising going? How are you connecting with voters?
I think the 2 weeks in is going great. In a kickoff that we had in Dardanelle a couple weeks ago, a huge turnout, probably more people than the fire marshal should have allowed in the community center there, over 400 people. And then we did a tour all around the state to Fayetteville, Mountain Home, Jonesboro, Hot Springs, Texarkana, and at every single stop we got huge turnouts, more than I would have expected. These are during the workday, at lunch, turning out 40 or 50 people at a diner because people are ready to elect a senator who stands with Arkansans and stands up to Barack Obama. They're tired of a senator in Mark Pryor who says Arkansas comes first, but 90% of the time or more puts Barack Obama first. So the energy and the enthusiasm we've seen just 2 weeks in is very reassuring, and I think it's very exciting. And next November, we're going to win, and we're going to elect a senator who stands with Arkansans.
Notice you mentioned your opponent, Senator Pryor. It seems the last few weeks we've really seen him go to a strategy where he's really embracing his vote for Obamacare. How do you think that's going to play with Arkansans embracing really that vote?
Look, Obamacare has been unpopular since before it was passed, when it was in formulation and debate. And it's only gotten less popular as time has gone by. That's not because of any kind of political argument or debate. That's because of reality. As Arkansans see their health insurance premiums increase, as Arkansans can't get full-time work or they lose their full-time hours because of Obamacare, as Arkansans lose access to health care as employers drop their health insurance, or as seniors face longer waiting lines for access to doctors because doctors are increasingly turning away seniors on Medicare because of the cuts that Obamacare makes to Medicare or the constraints it places on the coverage of procedures. So Mark Pryor is the deciding vote for Obamacare. He has to defend that vote, but I think it's indefensible. And I think the people of Arkansas, from whom I hear, or if you look at public opinion polls, recognize that they don't want government in Washington dictating their health insurance. They want solutions that focus on patients and doctors and families.
All right, great, thanks.